Imagine this. A sudden conflict erupts in the Persian Gulf. A vital shipping lane, one the entire world depends on, just slams shut. And bam, just like that, the global energy system is thrown into absolute chaos. This creates a new kind of battlefield, where the weapons aren't just missiles, they're oil and gas. So let's break down what this new energy war is all about.
For decades, this was the nightmare scenario, the one energy analysts were always gaming out. And as expert Tatiana Mitrova puts it so well, this isn't some out-of-the-blue surprise. It's a possibility they've been dreading for 30 years, and now it's here. The test is over, this is the real thing.
The trigger for all this? The shutdown of the Strait of Hormuz. I want you to think of this narrow waterway as the jugular vein of the global oil market, and now it's effectively closed to tanker traffic. You can just imagine the shockwaves ripping through the entire system.
Okay, so as this conflict totally upends the market, one country seems to be the biggest, most immediate winner: Russia. With prices spiking and buyers scrambling for any barrel they can find, Moscow seems poised for a major windfall. But, and this is a big but, is the story really that simple? The immediate impact is, well, it's easy to see. Nearly a fifth of the entire planet's daily oil supply used to pass right through the Strait of Hormuz. Now it's just stranded. The basic laws of supply and demand are pretty unforgiving, and, you guessed it, prices are absolutely skyrocketing. So, let's take a closer look at what's going on with Russia. On the surface, this whole crisis looks like a massive blessing for the Kremlin. It's delivering a huge financial prize right when they needed it most.
And what a prize it is. We're talking about an estimated $150 million in extra income flowing into Russia's federal budget every single day. This is coming right after Moscow posted a record budget deficit, so this cash infusion is basically a critical lifeline for them.
And you can see the jump right here, clear as day. The price for Russia's main export crude, what they call Urals, has shot up from around $40 a barrel to over 70. That's way above the level the Kremlin needs to balance its books.
Oh, and there's more. You know that big discount Russia had to offer to sell its sanctioned oil? Well, it's almost vanished. With desperate buyers looking for any available barrel, that discount has shrunk from as much as $15 to just $3 or $4. That's a lot more profit on every single sale. So with all this cash flooding in, you'd think Russia's energy sector is stronger than ever, right? Sitting pretty? Well, the reality is way more complicated than that. Okay, the first problem is just physical. The world lost somewhere between 1.5 to 2 million barrels a day from Iran. Russia, at its absolute best, can only add about 300,000 barrels of spare capacity. It just can't plug that gap, not even close. And this table really captures the core paradox here. The short-term gains, they're undeniable. Huge revenues, more profit per barrel. But all of that is masking these deep, long-term pains. We're talking about legacy oil fields that are in decline, critical refineries getting damaged by drone attacks, and years of the state basically raiding company profits, which has just starved the sector of the investment it desperately needs for the future.
Now let's flip over to the other side of this equation. For the world's biggest energy importer, China, this crisis presents both a really severe threat and a huge strategic opportunity.
The immediate vulnerability is so clear, especially for natural gas. Before this all kicked off, nearly a third of China's vital liquefied natural gas, or LNG, came from Qatar. And all of it, every bit, was shipped through the now-closed Strait of Hormuz. Ouch. But, and you had to know there was a but coming, China has been preparing for a moment just like this. Its first line of defense is a colossal stockpile of oil. We're talking 1.4 billion barrels held in reserves. That's enough to weather months of disruption without importing a single drop from the Middle East. And this is where the story really pivots. As analyst Erica Downs puts it, this crisis is actually proving that China's long-term strategy was the right one all along. The chaos isn't just a threat, it's a vindication of their entire approach. So, the crucial point here is that this crisis isn't derailing China's plans, it's supercharging them. For 2 decades, Beijing has been doing 3 things: building up massive reserves, investing in pipelines that completely avoid these maritime choke points, and, most importantly, pushing to electrify its entire economy to reduce its dependence on imported oil altogether. So when we pull these 2 threads together, a fragile Russia and a very strategic China, we can start to see the outlines of a whole new global energy map taking shape. And it's one where a single integrated global market, well, that's becoming a thing of the past.
At the heart of this new map is the use of energy as a political weapon. As Sergei Vakulenko notes, leaders like Vladimir Putin aren't just looking for revenue here. They're using this moment of crisis to gain some serious geopolitical leverage.
So, what does this new, more fragmented and frankly weaponized energy world actually look like in practice? What are the new alliances? What are the new fault lines?
What we're seeing is the emergence of these distinct energy blocks. You've got a Russian-led system pivoting east, deepening its ties with China and India. Then you have Europe, which, cut off from Russia, has no choice but to slam the accelerator on its green transition. And of course, the US is playing its own cards as a major exporter. The key takeaway is this: the old global market is breaking apart.
This crisis is also speeding up the rise of a completely new kind of power, the electrostate. It's a really interesting concept. This is a country that builds its security not on importing oil, but on generating its own electricity from domestic sources. Think solar, wind, nuclear. It's a race that China is absolutely determined to win.
And that leaves us with a final, massive question to think about. This crisis has shown just how fragile our fossil fuel-based system really is. So as we move forward, is the clean energy transition no longer just about the climate? Is it now fundamentally about national security itself? Could the fear of the next big shock be the thing that truly accelerates our move to a whole new way of powering the world?